Breaking news, people. We have something that's definitely worth talking about. I was going to save it for tomorrow, but I don't know what tomorrow brings, so I figured why not just go ahead and do it this evening because Nintendo, yes, Nintendo is now getting into the company acquisition marketplace. A brand new acquisition was just announced that Nintendo has done for a US based company. So that kind of makes things a bit interesting with this. They have worked on some Nintendo Switch games before. Obviously, this is probably gearing up towards the Nintendo Switch 2, so we're going to talk all about it. Hit that subscribe button if you are new. But Nintendo has now announced the acquisition of Shiver Entertainment. And I know what you're saying to yourself, who the hell is Shiver Entertainment? And as we go along, we'll see some of the games that they have indeed done. Nintendo Co. Ltd., all that, we're not reading all that, hereby announces that it has entered into an agreement with Embracer Group. So that's pretty interesting because Embracer Group has been buying up a lot of people. They're pretty much up there with Microsoft as the two companies that are buying up a lot of companies, but now they are selling off Shiver Entertainment probably for a pretty low price point to Nintendo. They are acquiring 100% of outstanding shares of Shiver Entertainment, which headquarters is in Miami, Florida. US CEO John Shapert here in after Shiver and make it wholly owned subsidiary, the acquisition. So they own 100% of this company. Everything is under Nintendo's tutelage. Purpose of acquisition. Shiver is a video game development company that develops software for multiple platforms, including Nintendo Switch. Since its establishment in 2012, Shiver has partnered with publishers and developers through commissions for large-scale title developments, and recently has worked on porting and developing software titles such as Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1. So, Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1 were both games that came over to the Nintendo Switch, kind of considered to be somewhat impossible ports. Mortal Kombat 1, when it came out, was fun. Like, I made a video on it, but it definitely needed quite a bit of improvement in terms of graphics and in terms of performance, with some hiccups that were pretty prevalent in the game. But as time has gone on, they've actually done a decent job of patching it up. It's still nowhere near like the PS5 or the Xbox version of it, but it's much more serviceable. Now, Hogwarts Legacy, I actually personally did not play on the Nintendo Switch, but I heard some pretty decent things about it. I think that one of the things was like is kind of like fast travel now to sort of circumvent when you go outside of Hogwarts Castle into the town. I'm not that big of a Harry Potter nerd, so forgive me for forgetting the town name. But other than that, it seemed like a pretty decent port. Nintendo will acquire 100% of the outstanding shares of Shiver and make it a wholly owned subsidiary. By welcoming Shiver's experience and accomplishment development teams, Nintendo aims to secure high-level resources for porting and developing software titles. Going forward, even after it becomes a part of the Nintendo Group, Shiver's focus will remain the same, continuing commissions that port and develop software for multiple platforms, including Nintendo Switch. This acquisition will be completed pending satisfaction of all relevant customary closing conditions. We have some stuff down here talking about the stock, the level of the stock. It might be a good time to buy. Well, some of that stock is now owned by Nintendo. I don't really know how that works, but the acquisition will only have a minor effect on Nintendo's results for this fiscal year. So there's really two things I'm taking away from this acquisition here. First off, well, before we get into the two things, I mean, this is just completely out of left field. You usually don't see Nintendo doing this, but it is interesting. Now, why are they doing it? So that they can have ports done in probably a more timely manner. You know, if you have an in-house port team that's working directly with you, and that has access to the same tools and, you know-how that you have. I mean, if you look at a first-party Nintendo game and you look at a third-party Nintendo game, a lot of the times the first-party Nintendo game runs a bit better, looks a bit better, has a better frame rate, has a better resolution than the third-party game is. I almost wonder what it would look like if Nintendo themselves handled some of these ports, because I think they would be really interesting to see. This is obviously bolstering for Nintendo Switch 2. I think this is going to have a role in that, where companies could potentially use Shiver, because that kind of goes into the second portion of this. Shiver's focus will remain the same, continuing commissions that port and develop for multiple platforms, including Nintendo Switch. So they're also going to be working on other platforms as well. This isn't going to be necessarily tied into Nintendo. They're going to work somewhat independently. However, I'm sure if that call comes in, and Nintendo's like, hey, we need you to do something, I'm sure that will end up taking priority of this situation. So I find this very interesting. Like I said, with all these other companies, like, you hear about it all the time. Sony purchasing a smaller studio, bringing them in-house. Microsoft purchasing big studios and bringing them in-house. But Nintendo's usually the company that doesn't do that. They will just work with people like Alpha Dreams and stuff like that. But even when Alpha Dreams went under, I mean, Nintendo didn't really do anything to save them. So they must see something in Shiver, or Shiver has a good know-how around hardware that we don't get to see quite yet. Like I said, when you look at their pedigree of games thus far on the Nintendo Switch, at least with Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1 ports, I mean, Mortal Kombat 1 was definitely rough around the edges. Hogwarts Legacy seemed to fare a bit better, but as an independent studio, I mean, they did a decent enough job. I've seen a lot of people asking, well, why not, Panic Button? Because Panic Button has done a ton of great ports on the Nintendo Switch, and I don't really have the answer to that. And I don't really know if anyone has the answer to that, because to me, looking at this, it's kind of like, well, why did you choose Shiver? What is it about Shiver Entertainment, a company that I'm sure, 10 minutes ago, and before you started this video, you had no idea who these people were. You had never heard of them before. But now all of a sudden, they are a literal first-party Nintendo studio, if need be, even though for now they're going to be kind of operating independently. Obviously, we kind of saw what happened when when Microsoft bought some companies, and they were like, yeah, they're still going to be independent. I don't necessarily think this is like a Sony and Bungie situation, because, well, that really didn't work out. It didn't really work out, and they probably wish that they hadn't done something like that. But I find this very interesting, and I almost wonder, could there be more acquisitions coming? And I want all of those Nintendo channels and Nintendo Twitter accounts, keep up that same energy whenever Sony buys a studio, or Microsoft buys a studio, or anyone buys a studio. Everyone always gets, so out of sorts. Like, oh, consolidation, the video game industry, monopoly, and stuff like that. But if Nintendo does it, like, nobody cares. I'm not someone who really cares about stuff like that. I care about the end result. I care about the product I get in my hand. And if it means I get a better product in my hand, or a cheaper product in my hand, or a better looking and better playing product in my hand, I don't really care how it gets there, and that might rub some people the wrong way, but hey, that's just me. But I am curious to hear your guys' thoughts on Nintendo purchasing Shiver Entertainment. Are you a big Shiver Entertainment fan? Share some of your favorite Shiver games in the comment section down below, because I'm sure you have a laundry list of them as far as, what they've done. You know what? We're not going to wrap things up yet. I lied to you. We're going to look at Shiver Entertainment and see what games they have actually made. So let's go here. And let's see. So they did do Mortal Kombat 11. They focus on console stuff. We got Scribblenauts on there too. You did Maxwell. That's cool. Do you not? You don't list? Okay. Well, they don't list, some of the stuff that they've done. But hey, they make video games, and we like video games. So let me know what you think of this in the comment section down below. Oh, they've done ooh, interesting. EA games. Interesting. Okay, so they've had people who've worked on those EA games before. They've done stuff like Scribblenauts before. Very interesting stuff here. I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and see how everything pulls out. But hey, you could get a decent job here. People look happy. These people look happy. Look at them smiling when you're smiling. All right, let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.